Like this is what we've been working for all off season, and just seeing all the guys progress and all of the schemes and stuff come together, and all of the group come together and put this thing together to go out there and compete with these guys on Saturday. It's been really fun to see and really fun to be a part of.
You guys have had a tough camp weather-wise, but then you throw in defending against Coach Kitley's fast-paced offense. How has that prepared you going in to College Park this weekend?
I actually think it gives us an edge on the other offenses that we will play with. Going against Coach Kitley's offense and the weather out here that we see, I don't think that there's many offenses out there that can keep up the pace with that offense that we've seen for 3 weeks of camp, and also just the weather that we've had to deal with. Like once we can get against other teams, we'll be able to process things and move a lot faster since we've seen the speed at a speed that we will not see in the game.
Terez, you've kind of risen up the depth chart quickly since you've gotten here. How have you kind of been able to jump in and make yourself known right away?
The first thing for me coming in, like knowing what you got to do on the defense to really set you apart. So coming in here, got here in May, and all summer just worked on staying in the playbook, meeting with coaches, watching extra film, just making sure I know what I'm doing out there. So when it's time to play ball, I can go out there and play fast.
Maryland's receiver corps they're going to be lengthy, they're going to be physical. How do you guys feel that you're going to be able to combat that, considering you have tall receivers you won against yourself?
Yes, sir. We've won against tall receivers all camp. We have some pretty big guys in Quincy Brown and JR. So we've seen the type of skill guys that we're going to see this Saturday. So we're really prepared us for that. We've had reps day in, day out, high competition in. So we're really confident going into this matchup.
I got to get a smile. So what's your favorite ice cream?
Vanilla for sure, but caramel on top.
All right.
Good choice.
And you're from?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
No, where'd you come from? School?
I came from UTEP.
That's what I thought.
This spring, but I spent 3 years at Grand Valley State, a Division II school in Michigan before here.
Yeah, so I asked the Marshall guy this, and I'm going to ask you the same thing. Contrast El Paso to Boca Raton.
El Paso is about 15 minutes from Mexico. It was a lot different for me going out there, being from Indianapolis and then being in Michigan. So leaving from the Midwest, going out to the west side of Texas, El Paso was definitely different for me. But it was a culture shock, and it was definitely eye-opening for me, just being out there, meeting new people, just being around different things. Coming to Boca, it's paradise. You know, you're hot every day, beaches 5 minutes from campus. It's just being around a lot of the guys that loves football. Coach Kelly's a great guy. You know, he came from Texas Tech coming in, so just coming here from UTEP has been pretty good, and just like the weather has been pretty much the biggest jump, like from Texas to here, but it's also still hot in Texas.
Dry to wet,
yeah,
right?
It's nowhere near it's like humid. No, there's no humid out there. It's a lot of dry heat in Texas.
But if you had to pick one, where would you want to be?
Here, for sure.
Exactly where I want to be.
Terez, you could describe the defense. We had Coach Dewhurst on the pod. He described it as multiple, but what would you describe the defense as?
I would agree with Coach Dewhurst. It's very multiple. We're going to give guys a lot of looks, so it's going to be hard for quarterbacks and offenses to like kind of see and kind of guess what we're going to be in. We have a lot of different things we're going to throw at them, and with Coach Dewhurst, like he puts a lot on your plate, but it's going to set us up for success once it comes Saturday. Just throwing so much at those offenses and offensive coordinators.
Thank you.
Last one for me is, could you just describe something fun or good that came out of camp for you?
Something fun coming out of camp. I got a lot closer with my teammates, just spending time, like with me coming in this summer, right before the summer camp. We didn't spend a lot of time together this summer. Us DBs, we did, but just as far as like the whole team. So this camp, I got a lot close with guys, spent a lot more time with guys, just being here all day during camp. So being able to build that bond before we go on this journey for about 12 to 14 weeks, it was good.
I think it's part of being a quarterback, and like for me personally, I feel like the last like 2 off seasons I've kind of embraced that role, and so it's kind of come easy to me.
I asked Terez this too, but if you could, something good or positive that's come out of camp.
I would say just my connection with the receivers. I feel like it grew a lot over the summer, and watching spring ball and then watching clips from fall camp. You can definitely tell that we're more on the same page, where we were running the right routes at the right depth. I was putting the ball, where it needed to be, and it just seemed like we were more on the same page than we were in the springtime.
One of the things that you mentioned during your interviews this fall has been that your dedication to improving your footwork. Has that come along for you?
Yeah, I think so. Just continuing to rep with Coach Kit, and that's a testament to him and how he coaches the position. Before I was kind of allowed to just do whatever I wanted with my feet, and sometimes that got me in trouble. So I've definitely cleaned it up.
Questions?
Between Scout Week and watching film, what have you kind of learned about Maryland so far?
Yeah, I think they have a pretty solid secondary. They brought in some transfers. The 2 safeties are back from last year. The 2 middle linebackers are back from last year. They have a solid defensive line, so I'm gonna have to be getting the ball out fast. But they got a lot of guys that have played a lot, so nothing's gonna surprise them. They've seen a lot of ball, but just really excited to get out there and compete against those guys.
From a mental standpoint, chance to go in and make an upset week 1, but how do you kind of level your head and just go right in there, smooth sailing?
Just the same way I approach every game. Nothing changes, just because of who the opponent is. But we're definitely excited to go in there and actually play against somebody else for once. That's always super exciting, and to be honest, it's all I've been able to think about for the last week. And I went into my class, and I had a speech class, and I literally talked about the Maryland game because I couldn't think about anything else to talk about.
What's it been like? So you mentioned you go into that class talking about Maryland. What's it kind of been like first couple weeks? Do people recognize you at all as the QB1? What's it been like for the first couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Nothing like crazy. But I've enjoyed, being on campus. I have 2 in-person classes, and my professors seem like good people. The people in the class seem like good people, and I've been able to have like good conversations on campus when I've been there.
Caden, when I was talking to Easton about 2 weeks ago, he was telling me that this is the first time you and him are both starting on week 1. Kind of just describe that feeling.
Yeah, it's definitely different, a different role for both of us. It means that he has to take more reps than he's used to in practice, and I have to take more reps than I'm used to, and at least comparing it to like other seasons. But it's what we wanted. That's why we came here. That was the whole point in us transferring to Florida Atlantic, and we're super excited to get out there and finally play.